I'd like to take a minute to introduce SmartSAVER. SmartSAVER's only goal is to improve children's and families' access to registered education savings plans and the Canada Learning Bond. Prior to our national launch in January, a 3-year pilot of SmartSAVER in Toronto taught us that in working in collaboration with the federal government, with financial institutions, and with community agencies, we can improve access and participation in these beneficial savings programs. The Canada Learning Bond is an incredible kickstart contribution of up to $2,000 into the registered education savings plan of a lower income child that requires absolutely no contribution on behalf of an eligible family. It's free money earmarked for the post-secondary education of kids. Unfortunately, only 29% of eligible families are taking advantage of this free money, leaving more than 1.4 million eligible children without the education savings kickstart they could receive. Our goal at SmartSAVER is to change this. In 5 years' time, we want to push that number to 40% take-up across Canada. Martha Wolf, our first presenter, will talk a little bit more about the Canada Learning Bond, but we won't do a deep dive into the bond and the ins and outs of RESPs today. Instead, today's session will focus on why it makes sense for income support programs to introduce the Canada Learning Bond to their clients, and how 3 municipalities have integrated Canada Learning Bond promotion and enrollment into their work. I hope that at the end of this session, you'll have some great ideas on how you can help the children you serve get their Canada Learning Bond. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first presentation. Martha Wolf is with the Regional Municipality of Waterloo in southwestern Ontario. Martha is on the teleconference line and will be available for a question period. But instead of speaking live, we're going to show you a brief 3-minute clip from an interview Martha did on a local station in her community in February.
Welcome back to Talk Local here on Rogers TV. I'm Mary Cranston, your host for Tuesday's edition of the show. Always, of course, your voice is welcome on the program. You can reach us by email at talklocal@rogers.com, or you can tweet us at talklocalwr. It is reported that over 1.4 million lower-income children are unable to receive government education funding. SmartSAVER.org launched a new online application form to help families open registered education saving plans and access the Canada Learning Bond for their children. Tonight, I have the pleasure of speaking with Martha Wolf. She works for the region of Waterloo, and she has some involvement in bringing SmartSAVER to our region. Thank you so much for being here this evening, Martha. Pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
So do you want to just tell me first off what it is exactly that you do for the region of Waterloo?
I work at the region of Waterloo in the Social Services Department.
Okay.
And I train the Ontario Works caseworkers. So we found that because we had this large body of individuals who were serving the low-income families, that they would be the best people to communicate the message that SmartSAVER is trying to share. So these families that we work with who are in receipt of social assistance are all eligible to receive the Canada Learning Bond. However, our studies showed that only about 7.4% of our caseloads, which is about 8,000 families in the region, were actually accessing the Canada Learning Bond. So we felt that as part of our training and our moving forward to support these families to get all of the funds that they can to better themselves and their futures, that we would work with SmartSAVER's resources to bring the Canada Learning Bond information here to the region of Waterloo.
Great. So let's talk about SmartSAVER for people that don't know. What is SmartSAVER?
So SmartSAVER is an organization, a not-for-profit organization. Well, Omega Foundation is the organization, and they launched SmartSAVER when they recognized that so many families in Canada who were eligible for the Canada Learning Bond were not accessing it. So for people who don't know what the Canada Learning Bond is, it's up to $2,000 that eligible families can receive per child in an RESP to be used for their post-secondary education. So that is a huge difference for people in the likelihood that they will attend a post-secondary education. It just really has huge impacts on families when they know that there is some support for children to access post-secondary education. So SmartSAVER really tried to take on that challenge of bringing the information to the individuals who were eligible and to help them access the fund.
So let me get this straight. Families that are unable to receive OSAP or any government education funding are unable to access a registered education savings plan?
No, it's just one of those too good to be true stories, to be honest. There is, for any family that has a net income of $44,701 or less, they're eligible to receive $2,000 per child in an RESP. It's just that people don't know about it. So this doesn't stop them from accessing OSAP funds, and if they are receiving social assistance, it doesn't affect their social assistance benefits. It's simply free money for children's education that the government has offered. Now, the challenge is that, again, people, weren't aware of it, and even if they are aware of it, there is a little bit of a challenge of setting up an RESP. So SmartSAVER was trying to reduce the barriers to accessing these funds by supporting people to set up the RESPs and make the application for these funds. Now, the caveat is that this did start in 2004, so it's children who are born on or after January 1st, 2004.
On or after January 21st, 2004, okay.
Yeah.
So can you touch base on the Canada Learning Bond again? Can you just elaborate on that a little bit more?
Yeah, the Canada Learning Bond started in 2004. What happens is, for eligible families, they need to open an RESP, and in order to open an RESP, they have to have a social insurance number for themselves and their child. And they can go to actually any of the 5 major banks. And part of the challenge that we face is people feel that they might have to make a contribution to the RESP or to have some sort of cost associated with it, but there are no-fee RESPs available at all of the 5 major banks and at many credit unions as well. So they can go with simply their social insurance numbers, open an RESP. They have to complete the application form. The bank helps them to do that. It's simply sending the information to CRA with the social insurance numbers. And from then, the government will deposit $500 into each eligible child's account initially, and $100 every year after that until the child is 15 years old or until they max out at $2,000.
So why do you feel a lot of parents aren't aware of the Canada Learning Bond?
Had you ever heard of it before?
No, but I'm not a parent.
I am a parent, and I had never heard of it before either. When I heard of it, it does sound a little bit too good to be true. And when parents have young children, they're very busy. They are really trying their best to get a lot of things sorted and thinking about education, but maybe not being aware that this is something that could be available to them. We also noticed that for us at the region of Waterloo and supporting those who are receiving social assistance, that there would be the confusion that it might affect some of their social assistance benefits, which it does not. So people who are in receipt of Ontario Works or Ontario Disability Support Program assistance can access these funds, and it does not count against their entitlement in any way.
Wow.
Yeah.
So once people actually gain this boost, how long do they have to pay it back? Would it be the same time?
They do never have to pay this money back. This is total education savings grant. This is just free money for kids' education that they can use up till the time they are 36 years old, and they can use it in post-secondary education that includes traditional university and college programs as well as trades programs. They can use it here or abroad. It's a very flexible program because it is an RESP.
This sounds amazing.
I know, right?
This is awesome.
It really is.
And
it's a good news story.
You said it was established in 2004?
It was. And so across the Canada, although it was established in 2004, 600,000 families have accessed it, but that's 1.4 million eligible children who are not accessing the bond. So that is why we here at the region of Waterloo, together with SmartSAVER, are trying to improve people's access and awareness of the bond. So SmartSAVER really launched a lot of great initiatives in the Toronto area, and they came out beyond the Toronto area to train people they thought might also be able to spread the news, and that's how we got connected with them. And they have an amazing new program. So on the smartsaver.org website, they have the ability for people to apply for the Canada Learning Bond. So you would just provide some basic information, and you can select a bank with which you would like to have your RESP, and then that bank will contact you back, and you'll complete just a minor amount of paperwork, and you're on your way.
Wow, sounds fantastic.
Really
so
good.
do you feel the establishment of a registered education savings plan, sorry, I keep forgetting that word, motivates more families to save?
It's unbelievable, actually. It has so many greater impacts. So for the studies that we have seen, people who have set up the Canada Learning Bond, again, these are maybe lower income families who traditionally haven't had the ability to save. 97% have made contributions to the Canada or to the RESP on their own, outside of the funds that the government has provided. So we do know that for sure once people set up this RESP, they themselves are contributing, or they have family members and friends who are providing gifts to the children and are building these education savings for kids.
What does a family have to bring in to be considered a low-income family in our region? Do you know?
If any, even if they have received the National Child Benefit Supplement for 1 month out of the year, they would be eligible for the Canada Learning Bond. So that's a tax benefit. But the family net income has to be $44,701 or less to be eligible for the Canada Learning Bond. Now, if people do have children that were born on or after January 1st, 2004, and they had never heard of the Canada Learning Bond before, and today they're hearing about it and they're very excited and they want to go out and sign their children up, it does work retroactively. So they will get the initial deposit of $500, and they will also get $100 for any other eligible year that they had children who could have received the bond.
So do you know if anyone in our region has signed up for this?
Well, we did an initiative in 2013 to hold an event that partnered banks and Service Canada to bring them together in one spot so that people could come and they could get their social insurance numbers and they could get their RESP at a bank of their choice. And we had 59 people sign up for a social insurance number and 70 families register for the Canada Learning Bond. So they opened RESPs that day, and we are going to be hosting an event this May as well. In 2013 when we did it in Cambridge and Waterloo. We'll be doing it in Cambridge, Waterloo, and Kitchener this year. So if anybody's interested in that, they can access our information on the Region of Waterloo website. We have a Canada Learning Bond webpage, and they can also email us at canadalearningbond@regionofwaterloo.ca.
So in your position at the Region of Waterloo, is your main focus right now just trying to promote the SmartSAVER?
Well, I do at the region, when we're supporting our caseworkers to support our families who are needing financial assistance, we are trying to help them access any and all resources for which they may be eligible. And so our job is to just in any way help people access these funds. We have to do a lot of promotion and removing of barriers. There is the fear again that the RESP would affect their social assistance benefits. There's also the concern that when somebody approaches a bank, although they do offer these no-fee RESPs, that the bank might try to sell them something, or they might not know what to ask for. So the banks have provided sheets of information that anybody can take. So if you wanted to go to BMO, you could take a sheet that we have and SmartSAVER has on their website and say, this is the service that I'm looking for. I would like the no-fee RESP so that I can sign up for the Canada Learning Bond. And that's what SmartSAVER, one of their main objectives is to remove that barrier, the fear of the bank. They have done a great job of partnering with banks and credit unions to try to make it as easy as possible for people to access these funds. So their new launch with the online service, if somebody was hesitant to even go to the bank, they could start this process online, and then when they receive the call back from the bank already knows exactly what it is they're looking for and isn't going to try to offer them any other products or services that they may not be interested in at this time.
Wow, so how long have you actually been working for the region for?
I've been working for the region since 2010.
Okay.
And in this role of facilitator since 2011.
Okay.
And we got to start the Canada Learning Bond Initiative a few years back, and we have done a lot of work to inform our caseworkers because they have a lot of information they need to share. And then we have also tried to partner with other organizations as well to just try to make sure that people are hearing about the Canada Learning Bond multiple times in multiple ways so that they are getting the support they need to access it.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic. I'd never heard of it before. I know a lot of my friends that have applied for OSAP or a line of credit, they feel they're going to be paying back these loans for the rest of their lives, and so they might have even been eligible for this program.
It's true. Now, the other thing that we know about this Canada Learning Bond, or the existence of any education savings, is that it increases the likelihood that people will graduate high school, will stay on track year over year in school, and will attend some post-secondary. So it's unbelievable the impact of even a small amount of savings in changing people's mindsets from will I go to school to what will I study when I go to school? And that for families, that change in their belief about the post-secondary education and the accessibility of it has real impacts for whether or not children will even complete high school and then to go on to complete post-secondary.
So there has been studies that children actually do try harder if they know that there is some money put aside for them.
The effects can be seen as young as at the age of 11, that kids will start to stay a little bit more focused if they believe that there is the existence and the potential of attending post-secondary. And I think that the stat was if there's as little as $3,000 in savings, they are 50% more likely to attend post-secondary. And the government is offering the first $2,000 free to all of those eligible children. And if other folks do want to contribute to the RESP, then they're still eligible for the Canada Education Savings Grant, which is the matching program that the government offers to, for any contribution that you make, match a certain number of dollars towards the education as well, depending on the level of income of the family. And anybody's eligible for that. There is no income cutoff for that.
Wow. So real quick, Martha, do you see a huge need in our community for this program?
Huge. I feel that it's just free money that is sitting there waiting for people to access. I know the government gave it for this purpose. It's been earmarked, and we would love to support any eligible individual to access these funds. It is going to make a difference, and for our at-risk families can potentially contribute to breaking the cycle of poverty.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming on this evening and talking about this wonderful program. It sounds amazing.
All right.
All right. Well, that is Martha Wolf. She works for the region of Waterloo and has had a lot of involvement bringing this program to light in our region. Thank you so much for watching Talk Local this evening. I'm Mary Cranston. We'll see you next Tuesday. Has had a lot of involvement bringing this program to light in our region. Thank you so much for watching Talk Local this evening. I'm Mary Cranston. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Thanks, Martha, for being such an excellent Canada Learning Bond spokesperson. Awareness of the Canada Learning Bond is very low across the country. Income support programs can play a valuable role in raising awareness, as Martha did through this media interview. If there are any questions for Martha, you can ask them in the Q&A, which we'll get to after our first break. Next up, we'll hear from Mary Alice Searles, Supervisor within Employment and Social Services in the Municipality of Chatham-Kent. Mary Alice is an active member of the CLB Champions Network, a national collaboration of government, community agencies, and financial institutions working together to promote the Canada Learning Bond, and is a municipal innovator in Canada Learning Bond promotion. Mary Alice, over to you.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me here this afternoon to talk about the Canada Learning Bond campaign in Chatham-Kent. Chatham-Kent is located halfway between London and Windsor in southwestern Ontario. I wanted to point out the logo in the bottom left-hand corner, the cap in the maple leaf. This was created by someone on the Education Savings Working Group last year, and we've been using this on our materials as a branding for the Canada Learning Bond. On the next page is our mission statement, and I won't read through it, but I will point out that it says our mission is enhancing and enriching the quality of life for families and individuals. And specifically, we consider promoting the Canada Learning Bond as one tangible way that we can help to improve the quality of life for families and individuals in the long run. And this is based on the premise that education is a key factor for improved quality of life. With education comes employment and self-sufficiency. We don't expect overnight results, but we do see that increasing RESPs in Chatham-Kent is a long-term plan. We believe that the RESPs plant a seed, that children know that their parents expect them to continue education after high school, so they may work harder and stay in school longer, knowing that there's a plan for them to go on to post-secondary education. As well, the Canada Learning Bond starts the asset planning that's required to cover the cost of education. And in order to do this, we need to work in partnership with other community members and to collaborate for us to have the highest impact. On the next slide is a list of our goals. I'll spend the most time on the first one. It's the one we see as the most important, and that's to increase education levels and the skill base across Chatham-Kent. We feel that increasing education and the skill base in Chatham-Kent will result in decreased Ontario Works and Ontario Disability Support Program rates, and it will decrease the necessity to access various social services and emergency funds. Statistically, it's shown that kids that have RESPs are more likely to go on to post-secondary education. Increasing the skill base will produce a stronger labor market, and this will help economic development attract businesses. Businesses want to know that there's a supply of skilled labor to build their companies. And business attraction means more jobs and a higher property tax base. And with all of these improvements, with the education and increased skills base, it will create improvements to the factors of the social determinants of health, which are the living conditions in which one lives. And the result is a healthier community. And ultimately, that's why we are looking at championing the Canada Learning Bond. And some of our other goals, which I will just run through, it's an opportunity to have financial literacy conversations with people. It's a chance for us to reach children before the age of 6, and this fits with the Ontario Best Start philosophy. Reaching children early gives them their best chances to success. It gets lower income families that haven't been able to save, thinking about asset building, which is important for families in order to exit Ontario Works, to have that security of assets. And even though this money is set aside for the children, it does put money in the bank and can give a sense of security. And finally, we'll continue to work in partnership with other community members and organizers and try to build promotions into other existing systems. We've reached out to our Chatham-Kent Leaders Cabinet, the Prosperity Roundtable, the the Best Start Network, as well as other municipal departments. And we're working towards a collaborative effort to help promote RESPs in our community. So last year, what did we do? We had an Ontario Works casework pilot. We had a computer printout of all the clients on Ontario Works that were eligible for the Canada Learning Bond, as well as a list of clients that were eligible for the Canada Education Savings Grant. We really didn't promote the Canada Education Savings Grant so much because our clients don't have much money, and we didn't want people thinking we wanted them to set money aside right now. But we did promote the no fee, no contribution required Canada Learning Bond, and our caseworkers called every single person on their list, talked to them about the Canada Learning Bond, and tried to help them sign up and overcome any barriers. We did note a few barriers which will help us in future planning as we continue promotions. Some of them were clients' fear of the reception they might get at the bank, that they might not be able to get a bank account, that they might be asked to contribute funds. Transportation is another issue for some people. And in addition, many families were just struggling to put food on the table, so starting an RESP just wasn't at the top of their list. So as I mentioned, knowing these things will help us with promotions in the future. Another thing our office has been doing is that with every intake, that if they have qualifying children, there's a brochure put in with the intake which the caseworker gives to the client at application. So another thing we did in 2014, we sent out approximately 3,000 check inserts to clients in their November monthly checks. These were just done on regular 8.5 by 11 sheets in black and white, so they're pretty straightforward to do. And we held our first annual Education Savings Week. So for Education Savings Week, we did a number of different things. Prior to that week, we did a presentation to the local Prosperity Roundtable, which is also known as the Poverty Roundtable. It connects numerous agencies and governments within the municipality, as well as other community members. And they did make a pledge to support the Canada Learning Bond campaign. We did a presentation to Best Start, which includes representatives from all of the municipal daycares. We had RESP sign-up clinics where people could come and have one-stop shopping for the Canada Learning Bond. We had financial institutions there. We had Government of Canada social insurance numbers were available if people needed them. We also had prizes awarded. We had $50 towards an RESP offered to 2 people who signed up, or to the 2 first people who signed up. Drawing contests were held, and the forms were distributed by the municipal service centers and collected, so we were able to get some supports with that. The municipal libraries had book displays and handed out bookmarks. We were on the radio that week. The radio held trivia questions for us and gave out movie passes for prizes. We advertised or did social media, so we posted on Facebook and Twitter. We sent letters to all the financial institutions in Chatham-Kent, asking them to consider participating in Education Savings Week. And we distributed printed materials, so wallet cards from the Government of Canada, the postcards that are on the SmartSAVER.org website, and we created posters and bookmarks. We also used the free brochures from Service Canada. So what's our next strategy? Well, we're very excited to have hired a summer student this year to help plan with the promotional activities. We hope to be able to get more community participation and RESP enrollment with her help. We do plan to set up information booths at locations across Chatham-Kent this summer. We did have one last weekend at a CK Youth Festival where we had a table set up handing out sidewalk chalk in Ziploc bags with the Canada Learning Bond promotional material across the top, and a craft table where kids could come over and make their own bookmarks, and it had promotional material on the bookmarks as well. And it was really a very busy table with lots of kids coming over and doing the crafts. We're going to plan some new Educational Savings Week ideas, as well as use some of our ideas from last year again. And one of our new ideas is we are going to have a free community movie night at our local Capitol Theatre. And we're really quite excited about that. We'll get to pick a family movie and have tables set up to market the Canada Learning Bond and the Canada Education Savings Red, as well as we will incorporate some financial literacy information for Financial Literacy Month. And we're going to continue to work with community leaders to develop innovative ways to promote the Canada Learning Bond. We've spoken to the Chatham-Kent Leaders Cabinet, which includes the mayor, executive directors, CAOs, and CEOs of various organizations. And we're going to connect with each of them and discuss how best to promote the Canada Learning Bond. And ideally, these promotions would be built into some of their systems enough to be able to promote on an ongoing basis. That's our goal, that's our hope. As well, our summer students are going to make arrangements to attend other organizations and networks that are not necessarily associated with the Leaders Cabinet. And we're going to continue to participate in the Champions Network that is the National CLB Champions Network. And just a note that new members are welcome to this Champions Network. So if this is something that interests you, make sure you get in touch with us or with Kayla, and I'm sure we could get you connected. It's a great way to share information and to find innovative ways to promote in your community. So what's the time frame? Short term, the results of the promotions are really difficult to determine in the short term, and what we found is that repetition is important. People hearing it from a variety of sources a number of times. I think that's where the benefit's going to come in. In the medium term, we plan to use the CLB uptake rates to determine our successes. And we're going to continue talking about RESPs, and really we see this as a long-term plan. Ideally, we could see an increase in high school graduates and post-secondary education, and this would correspond with a decrease in social assistance dependency and an increase in labor market skills. And what will the result be? It will be a healthier community. And finally, we were asked whether we see ourselves using or incorporating the SmartSAVER online RESP starter in our promotions, and the answer is yes, absolutely. We do plan to incorporate into our marketing materials and our sign-up events. It's just one more way that people can start the application process and have something to take to the bank with them, and we do appreciate SmartSAVER opening up this opportunity to everybody. And that's everything, so thank you for participating and giving us the opportunity to share what we've been doing here. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mary Alice. We are inspired by the variety of ways you've approached Canada Learning Bond promotion. Again, if you have any questions for Mary Alice, you can enter them into the Q&A box. Next, we're going to hear from Rachelle Moore, who is the Early Years Project Manager with the City of Hamilton. Hamilton's Best Start example demonstrates how, through internal and external partnerships, municipal leaders can increase awareness and take-up of the Canada Learning Bond to support access to post-secondary education.
Thank you, Kayla, for that introduction. I'm really excited to be able to share more information about our local Canada Learning Bond strategy here in Hamilton, Ontario. So I'll give you a bit more information about what Hamilton Best Start is all about and how that aligns with our city. Very simply, Best Start is about integration. It's about working collaboratively to support families by offering a broad range of services for children prenatal to 12 years of age. The Best Start Network is comprised of over 50 different organizations that come together on a monthly basis to collaboratively plan, implement, monitor, and influence policy. The Hamilton Best Start Initiative is administered by the City of Hamilton. Now, one of our strategic work groups of the network is focused on helping families increase awareness and access to basic needs supports. Understanding the importance of post-secondary education and the low awareness and uptake rate of the CLB, this group was tasked with developing and implementing a strategy to increase awareness and uptake in Hamilton. To give you a bit more context, the citywide average for uptake was 24% in 2014 when we started the initiative, but there's some areas within the city that were as low as 19% uptake. So it's quite a bit of work to be done in terms of mobilizing the information about Canada Learning Bond and other education savings as well. So what are we doing here in Hamilton to tackle our Canada Learning Bond? Well, we have 4 key elements to increase awareness and uptake of the bond in Hamilton. At the moment, we're focusing on sign-up events in 11 priority neighborhoods throughout the city. We've included information in the annual registration packages distributed by local school boards. And so this year, the information packages went out in February, and from what I understand, have reached just under 5,000 children entering into school. And we're hoping that that will continue on an annual basis with sharing more information about Canada Learning Bond and education savings. We will be developing a toolkit for service providers, and of course, we'll be evaluating the initiative to inform future program development. The evaluation will shed light on what has worked well, what needed some improvement, how families have learned about the Canada Learning Bond, especially with our events. So there's a lot of information that we've been gathering that will help inform the evaluation. We knew going into the strategy that this would require several partners coming together to help share the information about the Canada Learning Bond. And so our partners are multi-pronged. We have partners from local government, private sector that are working together. Our project team specifically includes Hamilton Best Start, another City of Hamilton divisions, our Neighborhood Action Strategy, and Determinants of Health. Our task force includes representatives from City Housing, Recreation, Public Health, Ontario Works, Neighborhood Planning Teams, Service Canada, and 3 banks, RBC, Scotiabank, and CIBC, have also been partners in this initiative as well. We've also engaged city councillors and have received their support in the neighborhoods that offer the sign-up events. Information is typically shared on their respective websites and social media accounts. Now, what are some of the key benefits to the strategy here in Hamilton? Well, as I mentioned, the strategy has become a vehicle for various levels of government, private sector, and the community to work together in a collaborative manner and help break down silos so that we can reach some of our more hard to engage clients. It's opened up the conversation about the importance of financial literacy and has allowed us to look at how we can partner and how we can partner differently to better serve the public. In terms of key benefits, there are 3 that we'd like to highlight. It promotes cross-departmental work, it builds relationships through collaborative planning, and it's changing the way that we work with the public. In terms of that cross-departmental work, as I mentioned, we've been very fortunate to work with various divisions within our City of Hamilton. And this is because we have various areas that are working with children and families in the community. And so we wanted to leverage those capacities. In order to be successful in implementing the Canada Learning Bond strategy, it was imperative that we work together. And so that brings together our children and home management services, neighborhood action strategy, public health services, city housing, Ontario Works, and recreation. It builds relationship through collaborative planning. We've worked to ensure that the planning for each sign-up event is collaborative, and so not only do we bring together our core group of partners, but we invite community-specific representatives as well, including organizations, community development workers, and residents to take part in that planning. So the collaboration and sharing of information between our internal partners and external partners has really been a benefit that's come out of the Canada Learning Bond. It also is changing the way we work with the public. Our sign-up events offer a one-stop shop model of service delivery to the public. We have a triage team that welcomes participants, asks a few questions, and then directs them to the appropriate resource. Once participants retrieve their SIN number and complete their Canada Learning Bond application, they're then able to find out more information about community resources that are available to them that they may be less familiar with. For example, we have Healthy Smiles Ontario there that shares information about how parents can get involved with dental services that are free to them, city housing, recreation fee subsidy. We have community development teams that share information about the work that's being done to develop their community and how participants can get involved in that. And what's really been exciting about the way that these events have rolled out is it's offered a very welcoming environment for participants where they want to come in, learn about the Canada Learning Bond, and learn more about their community. So that's been a real win for us. The online RESP starter and CLB application offered by SmartSAVER will be included in our information package to service providers. It will be an important tool to help sustain the momentum we have been building in Hamilton around Canada Learning Bond and education savings. One of our partners, City Housing, will be offering information and sign-ups at their annual general meetings from May to October of this year. There will be approximately 35 events to share information about the Canada Learning Bond. And because there are so many, it's great that the SmartSAVER tool is available electronically, and perhaps a kiosk will be available where families can interact with the tool and get signed up for the Canada Learning Bond and next steps. So we're hoping to continue to encourage our partners to use the tool at events. So that's about it from the Hamilton perspective on how we're implementing the Canada Learning Bond strategy. If you have any other questions about our strategy, feel free to contact me either by email or phone, and I'd be happy to share more information. Thanks.
Thank you, Rachelle. We'll now break for questions for our three speakers before we introduce you to SmartSAVER's new online application. Okay, next we'll hear from Luke, Partnership Manager from SmartSAVER. Luke is going to introduce you to SmartSAVER's new RESP Starter and Canada Learning Bond online application.
Thanks, Kayla. What you're looking at right now is a screenshot of smartsaver.org. Our online RESP Starter and Canada Learning Bond application is accessed by clicking "I'm ready, start my RESP." I encourage you to take a look through the application and test out the process for yourselves. Start My RESP is here to address one of the big challenges for families, which is how to establish an RESP account with $0 in order to access the Canada Learning Bond. Bank of Montreal, RBC, Scotiabank, TD, and two credit unions, Meridian and Van City, have come together to help us in this initiative. Each of these financial institutions has committed to establish RESPs for lower-income families with no fees and no minimum contribution, giving families the required account to access the Canada Learning Bond and matching grants. To be clear, SmartSAVER only partners with financial institutions that offer no fee and no contribution RESPs. The application is available in English with support in French, Mandarin, Spanish, and Punjabi. A fully French version of the application is also in development and will be available in the coming weeks. The application takes less than 10 minutes to complete. Here's how it works. The Start My RESP application collects all the information required for the Federal Canada Learning Bond application and submits them to a family's selected financial institution. The selected financial institution will use the applicant's address to locate a nearby branch where an appointment will be set up. This communication should happen within 2 to 3 days of the applicant's submission. At the appointment, the parent or relative will need to verify their ID and sign the paperwork to finish opening the RESP account and applying for the bond. Within 65 days, the government will deposit the bond into a family's account, all with no contribution required. It's really that easy. If any questions arise, we offer live support for all applicants through our toll-free number 1-855-RESP-CLB. Again, that's 1-855-737-7252. In addition to Start My RESP, we here at SmartSAVER can also help you with promotion of the CLB with web-based training and access to simple, customizable, printable materials. SmartSAVER is here to support you in any way possible. Please take time to review our online application. It can be of great help in assisting families you work with through the RESP and CLB application process.
Thanks, Luke. I hope that our speakers today have given you a sense of how the Canada Learning Bond complements and furthers the goals of income support programs, and how you can help families easily access this benefit. Our presenters provided great ideas, and we know of several other regions that are providing equally strong leadership in helping families to secure this benefit, including the region of Peel's involvement in the Enrolled by 6 initiative, and Sudbury Social Services' active role in shaping the first National Education Savings Week here in November 2014. Sharing of great ideas like the ones we've discussed today is just one of the ways we at SmartSAVER hope we can assist your promotion of the Canada Learning Bond. And that concludes our session today. Thank you to Martha, Mary Alice, Rachelle, and Luke for your presentations, and thank you to all of our participants. We hope you found this session to be useful. Finally, please do not hesitate to contact us here at SmartSAVER if you'd like to talk further or if you have any other questions. Thank you.